Greetings and welcome back to room 303 in our Talks with Walt, as we are calling our readings through the deathbed edition of Walt Whitman's Leaves of Grass. We turn now to the Wallabout Martyrs, poem number 11 of the 58 of Sands at 70. This is one of the more intriguing little poems in Leaves of Grass. It celebrates the Revolutionary soldiers buried in a mass grave in Brooklyn. Wallabout Bay is a bend in the East River just north of the Brooklyn Bridge. Now, our assumptions are that you've been following our stuff at LearnStrong.net, down that left-hand side, Talks with Walt, our playlist, and that you've been with us from the very beginning in the inscriptions poems. We've seen a number of these kind of tribute poems to the fallen, no question. We've given a set of introductory comments to Sands at 70, and we just finished with 70th year. Now, there's a lot of information that Norton's will give to us, and there's some information that Whitman himself gave. In this poem, there will be this introductory set of comments. In Brooklyn, in an old vault, marked by no special recognition, lie huddled at this moment the undoubtedly authentic remains of the staunchest and earliest revolutionary patriots from the British prison ships and prisons of the times of 1776 to 83, in and around New York, and from all over Long Island, originally buried, many thousands of them, in trenches in the Wallabout Sands. Now, his use of thousands, as we've seen, he loves the large numbers because obviously he gives emphasis. Now, this poem, Norton's will tell us, was first published in the New York Herald, March 16th, 1888. And Wallabout Bay is, as we said, the bend of the East River, present site of the Brooklyn Naval Yard, and that's significant, I think, as well in our reading and in our study. And obviously, the next time that you're there, this poem hopefully will resonate. I find this an interesting poem on a number of counts. Martyrs will take us back to starting from Paumanok 5, as of course you'll remember from our earlier study. Greater than memory of Achilles or Ulysses, more by far to thee than tomb of Alexander. Those cartloads of old charnel ashes, scales and splints of moldy bones, once living men, once resolute courage, aspiration, strength, the stepping stones to thee today and here, America. Now, I made the observation, soldiers' ashes, any number of other poems that we've talked about, that when you read Leaves of Grass, you are, as an American reader, you are challenged to consider the value of patriotism. And I don't back away from that observation. I think it's an important observation to our study of Leaves of Grass. Notice here that these fallen are called martyrs. And I think that's significant. It's usually a more religious term, but for Whitman, dying for the cause of America, notice the last word of the poem, is significant, is important. But he begins with the word greater. And this is going to resurrect one of the more intriguing questions philosophically that Whitman loves to play with. Notice, he says, greater than memory of Achilles, Ulysses. So there we are with our Homer. Far more by far to thee than tomb of Alexander, Alexander the Great. So we've mentioned three of the great warrior heroes, two mythic, one historic. And then what is greater? Those cartloads, later it'll be thousands, of old. Notice his use of the word old, right? I mean, back to the previous poem, Queries to my 70th year. Old. Go back and look and notice how identifying himself as old and other things as old becomes more significant as we get now towards the end of the deathbed edition of Leaves of Grass. Notice old charnel ashes, taking us again back to ashes of soldiers in the previous cluster. Scales and splints of moldy bones. Notice it's almost as if his language is intentionally to disturb. Yuck, right? Gross, kind of thing. As you guys have maybe your faces like, ugh, right? In other words, greater than all of those war heroes are these bones, once living men. And again, Leaves of Grass immediately comes to mind. Once resolute courage, aspiration, strength. Notice his trinities in the poems at the end of Leaves of Grass. You'll see it over and over again. You'll see it in the first dandelion, the next poem. The stepping stones, this is what he calls these fallen. The stepping stones to thee today and here, America. Now, we said from the very beginning when we met, I Hear America Singing in our inscription study, I told you guys, he doesn't throw this word around often in Leaves of Grass. He uses it very intentionally, and here it is so significant. In other words, what does it mean to say, these fallen are the stepping stones? Again, it's back to his evolutionary view, that it all happens for a purpose. Again, it's back to his theodicy. Why must there be all of these thousands who will have died? And he will make the argument, well, it's necessary, right? It's important because stepping stones. It is what made us who we are today. And I think that does take us to our level 2A themes or messages. Well, he makes the argument that democracy requires sacrifice, and those of us who have been the recipients of that sacrifice mustn't forget it. That's why he calls them martyrs, dying for a holy cause. At 2B, I love his intentional use of the word America, because what is he? Well, he wanted to be America's poet, and therefore he speaks directly, not just to you, the reader, but to all of us as Americans. I find that remarkable. At 3A, well, obviously, I've mentioned Ashes of Soldiers and Songs of Parting. You can go back and see what we had to say there. Obviously, our drum taps. Think about how he's as well playing around with Homer and the Iliad and the Odyssey. He is in the Iliadic tradition. Go back and take a look at all the things that we've said about the Iliad and the Odyssey. Full lectures on every book of those poems at learnstrong.net. Finally, at 3B, an interesting philosophic question raised in this poem because of the first word, greater. How about you? Are the unnamed fallen soldiers actually greater or more important than the Achilles, the Ulysses, the Alexander type leaders? It is an interesting question. Whitman makes the argument far greater, far more important than the known are those unknown contributors to democracy, and by extension we would say obviously to society, to America. I find that an interesting view. I hope that that's a challenging view for you to consider as well. You are important as an American. Thank you.